So Rita, I'll be with you in just a second. I want to say hello to everyone and say I'm sorry that I'm a few minutes late. We had a major event yesterday for over 800 people. I'm live. Sorry, for over 800 people from 21 countries. I hope you guys really enjoyed the show yesterday. It was supposed to be 7 hours of education, and we ended up with 10 hours and 16 minutes from what I understand. So it was really like so incredibly fun. I'm trying to keep like the whole background out. Right, there you go. Okay, so dogs, cats, everything. So so we had an amazing day. It was everything that you needed to learn about social media. Thank you guys. I don't think we've ever gotten more stories than we have. I think there's over 1,000 stories in there from yesterday, maybe even more than that. So we're really, really glad that you guys enjoyed the day, and our team did such a great job of putting together so much information for you guys. At least we were able to not have to think about coronavirus for one whole day. And we just kept you guys going so you wouldn't think about it at all. And you know, knowledge is power, and the only power that we have right now is our power, you know, to keep planning and keep thinking about what our future is going to be. It's going to be a little bit different on the other side of this. We know that. But the best thing that we can do is arm ourselves with knowledge and with information, and that helps us feel a lot stronger and more in control in a situation where we have no control over, which is the coronavirus. So I'm really excited about my guest that's coming on with me right now. As you guys know, I had Nick Arrojo here literally, I think the first week that everybody was out of work in New York City, right in the thick of things. I had Van Council, who's the largest salon owner in Georgia, on just a few days ago. They went back to work on Friday morning, so they had Friday and Saturday, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that. And what I'm really pleased to share with you guys is I've got just an icon in hair color. Definitely has paved so much of the way for so many. Also a salon owner in New York City and a celebrity colorist. And I'd like to welcome to my moment here on Instagram, Rita Hazan. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on and say hello to her. And we're going to ask her a bunch of questions, if this will open up, and find out how things are going in New York right now. So, and learn a little bit about her. Rita, I'm bringing you in right now, so hopefully I'm in my country house in the boondocks. So let's see. I think we're waiting for her to come on.
Hey.
Hi.
Good.
How are
How's
you?
it going?
Oh my gosh, it's going, right?
Yes, we're moving here. Yep.
I should probably say the same to you. How's it going?
Actually, it's not going bad at all.
Good, good. So you're taking this time to also, you know, I think I was talking to one of my good friends in the UK a few days ago, and they just got word that they may not actually be able to go back to work for 6 months. So they just found that out, I think, just a few days ago. And obviously that, you know, yeah, 6 months, because they're actually going to be the last wave of people going back to work. So it's, which is obviously different in Georgia, strangely enough. Like they had they had people who are closest to anyone go back before even retail.
I know people like get mad when I say this, but they may have the best, going and getting your hair done and looking good makes you feel good. And we're not idiots. We know how to protect ourselves. Nobody wants to get sick, you know. In the right time, I'm ready to open. I get that. I have to say that. But the truth is, we can take precaution and do it in the right way and enjoy ourselves. Well, it's also, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting because we've done 2 huge surveys. And
it's like 50-50, right? Some people like we have to, some people like no way.
So the one that we're about to release has 5,000. So the first ones were, you know, are you closed? Are you open? Like we know that every day feels like a month right now, right? So, you know, that was going back maybe 4 weeks ago, and it got picked up in Allure. We had a huge story in Allure all about, and the Washington Post, and a lot of different people picked up those statistics because hairdressers are just never, and we had almost 20,000 hairdressers take these 2 surveys. This survey that we just did, that we're about to release, I was looking at it this morning, is all about like, do you want to go back, you know, because you feel safe? Do you want to go back because you have to go back because you have to feed your family? do you want to, and then do you not want to go back, but you don't judge other hairdressers who do want to go back? And then do you not want to go back and think nobody else should go back because, in period. So we're about to release those findings, but I'll give you a couple pieces. This is driving me crazy. I'll give you a couple pieces. Yes, we're close to a 50-50 on people wanting to go back or not wanting to go back. The West Coast, which again is surprising to me, doesn't want to go back. And the part that, or doesn't think they should go back, but the part I don't understand is there's 1,000 deaths in the entire state of California. 38 out of a million people have died, and we don't even really know if they died of coronavirus. So, it's kind of, and then there were some.
Well, this is my thing, right? At some point, we are going to have to go back to work, right? At some point.
Exactly. It's not going to go away.
No.
It's not going to go away. It's like you're being in the smoking section versus the non-smoking section years ago. On an airplane or like.
Right.
So I'm sitting in an airplane right next to the smoking section. I'm in the smoking section. It's not going away.
Right. It's not going away. But the thing is to open a dialogue. Some people don't even want to talk about the future, but you have to discuss, because that's the only way that we can be prepared. And you can't just say like next week we're going to open these other, if you're a salon owner, you have to do this from now in advance, because you can't get it. It's not a overnight delivery of masks and drapery and stuff like that. You have to order. I ordered all my stuff this week, so that when we do open, whenever that is, we are prepared and we're not waiting 3 weeks for our delivery to come in and struggle then. So I think for people who don't even want to discuss it, it's not very smart, because we need to be prepared, and that's the most important thing. If you're prepared, you're prepared to win, but if you're not prepared, you will fail.
Yeah. Well, I think I think that every success, what I've said, a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, I started before the economy completely collapsed, because we're in collapse now. So Neiman Marcus is filing for bankruptcy. JCPenney just filed for bankruptcy. Kohl's is about to file for bankruptcy, and that's in mid-America, or just in middle income, let's say, nationwide. That's a really important store not to go out of business. And it's just a staple, around the U.S. And you just say, and Kohl's is going to go out of business. I mean, it's so sad, because 1 out of every 4 Americans, works in retail. Yeah. So these are, for everybody watching, these are all of your clients. And so what I've been, sharing, and what I shared about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I had one person literally crucify me. And because as a business person, it's remember when Trump and everybody else was saying, is the cure worse than the disease? Well, the problem is that we're already, the cure being, is the cure staying home worse than the disease? Because we destroy our entire economy. But I think that people are just flat out scared. If you're home, just imagine you're home all day watching TV, and TV is just scaring the shit out of everyone. Yes, it's a pandemic. Yes, it's killing people. And yes, it's scary, and you have to wear a mask when you leave your house and breathe air or whatever. It is scary. It is scary, but everything is scary, and there is a way to work around it healthy, where if you're wearing a mask and I'm wearing a mask and I'm wearing a shield and you're protected and I'm protected, there has to be a way in time to do it correctly. And that was my whole point. I mean, I did an Instagram about it on my Instagram, and a lot of people, it was 50-50. Some people were like, you're nuts. Yeah. And some people were like, I can't wait to get back in. So I feel like you're going to get that anyway. But my whole point is that I need to be prepared. I need to be prepared for my staff. I need to be prepared for my clients. And I have to make sure that my clients feel safe to come in as well, because that's half the battle. Exactly. Who's going to want to make an appointment? Who's going to be afraid to make an appointment? And I'm lucky because I have space that I can allocate. I can use office spaces for private rooms for people who want to do one-on-one. But I get that most salons aren't big, and they'll be allowed to do 2 people, and it might not work for them, Yeah. So that's the question for these small salons. How do they function? Yeah. Well, you obviously, you were a salon owner. When did you open your salon? It's so funny because I'm so bad with dates. So I asked my CEO today, hi, I'm like, what year did we open? 2003. So, okay, so because I was, I'm 54, so I've, been doing this for, and behind the chair, just turned 20
I
this
know.
year. And I remember right after 9/11, and I remember how bad business was in New
Yeah.
York City. 50,000 stockbrokers lost their jobs, and all of their wives or husbands, it was predominantly wives back then. It was men
Right.
usually on Wall Street, and they couldn't afford
I know.
services. I mean, they couldn't afford it. So, one of the things that, I've been spending a lot of time talking about, and I was talking a lot more about the economy before because I was hoping we could get right back, not knowing, but no hairdresser has an easy decision. I mean, this is scary, and there is no good
No.
solution. Like, so that's the key thing, is there is no good solution. There is no right answer. It's like, what go to the salon, you don't go back and you lose your business and you lose your clients and you hurt the economy. You do go back with the possibility of getting sick. So there's like literally no good answer. But the thing is I agree with you. We do have to think about, like, I feel I'm angry because we don't have enough data. There should be so much
I
more
know.
data available than what there is. The data is misleading. Like, remember when they told us originally, don't wear masks. They could even be bad for you. They won't stop the transmission. So, it's really hard to believe anyone. And
Because I
so
think
I
nobody
think
really
that's
knows. It's so new, nobody knows. So
yeah,
that's the whole thing. Like if you protect yourself enough and basically work from a bubble, you might be okay, but it's a personal choice. Are you willing to take the chance or not? And it just depends. It's personal
exactly.
choice, but you can't, a lot of people are like, giving their opinion as if like, you have to take their opinion. But the truth is, you do you, I'll do me. I know I'm going to make sure. I don't want my staff to get sick. I don't want my clients to be sick. I don't want to deal with clients that are sick or staff that's sick. It's just common sense. I don't want to be sick. So I'm going to do everything I can to protect everybody around me, including myself, But the question is, I think some people are saying, should you raise your prices? And that comes to your point. That's like
No,
the worst thing you
that's a
could do right
that's a
now.
stupid.
I
Right.
know.
Thank
I
you.
know.
We're
Well,
all
because the thing is, I get
there.
what people are saying. They're like, you can only do half the amount of work. But again, nobody's been working, so nobody has money. So they're lucky enough that
Nobody.
they even come sit in your chair.
Thank you.
You might even have to reduce your prices a little bit at this
Exactly.
point for a little bit. I know, like when that happened in 2008, there was some women who came in and said, Rita, honestly, I love you, but I can't afford you. I'm like, okay, what can you do? I don't want, this for me is not so much about money. You've been my client for like 15 years. Let me work with
Yeah.
you. And then when you can pay my prices, then you let me know. And I think people are
You'll come
like,
back.
on the honor system. They're like, okay, I'm good now. I can pay.
Yeah, but I think, and that happened a
Yeah,
lot actually during 2008 recession, which was
a lot.
horrific for me. And I'm so glad that I put a lot of money away. I don't spend a lot of money, and I put the money away and I didn't invest it. And everybody's like, "You're crazy." Well, I lost half of everything I was worth. I had to, I had a huge project that we had. I had to
Right.
ditch the project that I'd already spent the $500,000 on, and continue. It was awful. I
Right,
mean,
but
it
I
was
think like
awful. The
hairdressers
recession.
in general, we do spend a lot of our money, on fashion and going out and,
Yeah,
so I think in general, I think maybe this is a good wake up call for people to start like not spending as much
saving.
money. There are a lot of people who get it and they have families and they store whatever money they can, but you should be able to at least start, so even if you save like $100 a week, it adds up at the end of the year. You know what I mean? And each year you have money, so
Oh,
you don't have to like half your salary and like put in a savings account, but $100, $200, whatever you could afford, just put it away so that when stuff like this happens, you're not like underwater, like you
right.
can't breathe.
Yeah, we had on the second survey that we did asked them how long they could survive
Not long. A
with their
lot of
money.
people not
They said
long.
one. They said 39% of them said that they lived paycheck to paycheck, and 76% said that they couldn't live past a month. So thank God, the government did
Yes.
come out with the checks, because I think that, I don't know what people would be doing. And now you're seeing, miles and miles and miles of cars lined up, for food banks. It's just, and they don't report on that enough
Right.
on the news. So I feel like some of the, if you, and I keep saying this, if you haven't lived through a recession in business, those are the people that are saying, I'm going to raise my prices. First of all, like, as everybody knows, I always say life is not short. Life is long. Don't get it wrong. Like, life is long with your
Right.
clients.
You also have
Remember
to
that
have
they're not
compassion for
working
people who can't really afford it.
exactly.
That's mostly what it is in our business. We see people more than they see their families, once a month for most people, every few, and it's like on a consistent
Right.
basis. So you have to have some kind of like, it's a relationship. I know some of my clients longer than I know, my husband, or well, I haven't been married that long, but still. But I know a lot of my clients from when I was an assistant shampooing hair, and they were my models. So I have, I have like love for my clientele and for my people. So I just want everyone to be happy and safe and make money. That's the point of all this. And
Yeah.
by the way, I'm a lucky person because I have a product line. So I'm not oblivious to that. I'm blessed in a different way than most people are. But I also worked very hard to be where I am at this point. It's not like it just kind of happened for me. I've been doing this for a long time. And I took chances, instead of hanging out, I worked 7 days a week and I hustled, and, I put a lot of work into this. So thank God I have my product line at least now generating some money for me,
Right.
while the salon is closed, generating zero.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about you, because I've never had you on before. You have not been to one of our huge
Shame on
shows.
me.
We need to get you out. We need to get you out. Chris, everybody's been out, and I'm actually talking to Sally tomorrow, so that'll be a lot of fun too. But um, uh, let's talk about your business in New York, and then let's talk about your product line. So you've been obviously, you're very well known celebrity colorist. Is that hard to be a celebrity colorist on the East Coast versus on the West Coast? So much, because it's so funny, because I always say, like, the East Coast is like WWD and the West Coast is like TMZ.
True.
And it's
Yeah.
true, right? Like, so so the East Coast traditionally, as we knew, was doing fashion and models, and so what is the difference, would you say, between New York and LA celebrity, and I don't know, like, I'm super curious about that, because you're definitely the biggest celebrity colorist in New
I
York.
think that the difference is between New York and LA is just, it's a good question. I think mostly it is a different aesthetic. I think LA is more of like beachy and, laid back, and New York is more like glamour, finance, like, sophistication, dramatic. They want to be in, they want to be out, they want to get done. They don't have time to fuck around. They just want to like walk in, walk out. They don't want to sit there all day. They want you in, they want you out quickly, turnover. And I want to look beautiful, and I want to look polished. I don't want to look like I sat in the sun for 6 months, because that's not my thing. So it's more of like a polished, sophisticated, expensive look instead of like a beachy, sun-kissed look.
Yeah. So is that so talk to us from a color perspective about what the difference, so what you're just saying about, so are you talking a little bit more like well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. How, I know beachy from in terms of blonde or whatever, but tell us, like, what you spend the majority of your time doing then, from, in terms of, obviously it's still blonding, but you're probably doing a lot more darker colors and brunettes and some tone on tone.
Not necessarily, but I think it's less of
Still
this
blonde.
like, balayage, grown out kind of look. Like, they're into New Yorkers are into high maintenance. Like, I don't care if I have to come once a month. I don't want to see, this is horrendous. Like, for a New Yorker, it would be like, this, I can't breathe, So I think it's more of a polished. I don't want to see dark. I don't want to see roots. I want it to look expensive. I want to look polished. I want to look like I'm taking the time and spending good money on my hair, because I am. And by the way,
So
even men,
tell us about,
a lot of the men come in like
oh,
even more so than women.
I know. I mean, I can't believe the men that are coming getting their hair cut literally
But
every
why
2
not?
weeks.
Why should they go to the barber shop and sit if they have like enough money to spend and get like pampered and be in a luxurious place?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they? I agree with them. They should.
So tell me, tell us about how much space do you have? How big of a team do you have? Just a little bit about that.
Okay, so my salon, it's like on it's Fifth Avenue. It's like on 720 Fifth Avenue is the address. So it's on 56th and Fifth Avenue. It's about 8,000 square feet. Some of it is offices and some of it is salon. 6,000 square feet is salon. It's about 31 chairs. And I want to say about 40 people, if not a few more, working. And we do like, I guess, you know, some people are freelance, some people are there all the time. So it really depends on the schedule. You know, I'm all about creativity and letting people just do what they want. If you want to work full time, work full time. If you want to work part time, work part time. You know, I'm not really like a tough boss like that.
Yeah. And so your clients, give us an idea in terms of what your price point is, what your average ticket is.
We're expensive.
I know you are.
We're expensive.
It's good though. I mean,
so I would say like an average, the least expensive would be like haircut 125, most expensive like
yeah.
350, 400. Color wise
Okay.
would be the least expensive, also like 150 for a single, and the most expensive would be 850 for highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highlights. Yeah. And obviously you guys have been.
But remember, it's
I
relative to
back.
like the price, the cost of
Where you
living,
are.
right? So it is expensive,
Yeah.
but it's in New York and it's on Fifth Avenue. So it really depends on where you are.
So so one of the things I was going to talk about before and I forgot was the TMZ versus WWD. The biggest difference I feel like between New York salons and West Coast salons, and I think I understand why, is that the New York salons are not as friendly to the other New York salons. I've always noticed like the level of competition.
You think so?
I don't know if that's changed. Oh my gosh, years ago. Now, I don't know if it's changed because I've spent so much more time on the West Coast in the last probably 5 years because we have our BTC house in West Hollywood where we do all of our filming and everything. So I've been out there more than I have New York, where I used to come to New York every 6 weeks, and it feels like so much of beauty moved to the West Coast in terms of the manufacturers and a lot of our clients. So, but it used to be that somebody would leave one salon, go to another salon, and it would be like war in New York.
You're talking about the 90s?
I'm talking about like up until 5 years ago. Like again, and it made, yeah, I totally thought it did. Like I would see somebody leave one salon, go to another salon, and it would be like war, and the owners would never talk to each other.
True. You know why I think that is? Because people leave in a shady way. Like I left Orbe, but I told him I was leaving. I left by myself. I had respect for him because I knew that without him, I wouldn't have had the career that I had. And I wouldn't have the opportunities and the knowledge that I had. So I left Orbe on, you know, in good terms. You know, we always stayed in touch. He sent me a big bouquet of flowers, and you know, and when he launched his product line, I was the first one to carry it, and he came in and did a demo in the salon, and you know, it was like, you know, we stayed in touch. But I think that it is it's the industry's fault because you don't. It's both parts. Everybody should respect each other. There are people who naturally need to move on and open your own space, and God bless you. You just thank the people that helped you, and the people that helped you should be aware that stuff like this happens. I mean, it's not like, you know, oh my God, this is happening for the first time. I mean, it's just like the circle of life, right? You grow, you evolve, you have to move on, you open your own place. So I think it's about a proper conversation so that people are thankful and respect each other, and then you won't have that kind of animosity towards each other, because that's unnecessary. I mean, I never had an issue with any other technician, celebrity or not, in my entire career. I mean, I'm friendly with everybody. I don't have that issue.
And maybe it has to do with being a celebrity salon. But I just remember years ago when you know, there's been not not in
Right.
your situation, but
Yes, I agree with you. It does happen. It happens a lot, but I don't think that it should.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think that it's okay, and I think that we should, as an industry, work together as a team. There's enough room and clients for everybody to leave your ego at the door. Yes, I am who I am because you helped me, but now it's my time to shine and to evolve and to move on and to grow myself, just like you did. Everybody started somewhere and left and opened their own place. So now it's just my turn. And I think everybody needs to understand that people left my salon and opened their own place. I'm like, God bless, go ahead, do great.
If you run a great salon and you have great relationships with your clients, then you really don't have that much to worry about. I feel like, I always say all the time that, that great people don't want to work for good managers, and good people should never work for great managers. And I feel like, we have a saying, if you asked any of the 35 on my team, they would tell you, like, what's our motto? It's good is the enemy of great. Whatever we do, let's do it with greatness. And good's never good enough for us. And I don't care whether you're a stay-at-home mom. I don't care what that means. If you're folding towels, like I tell the story about John Frieda, folding towels, and folding towels made him the richest hairdresser that ever lived, because Leonard saw him folding towels as an art form. And instead of Leonard, who was, if you guys, many of you won't know who Leonard is, but Leonard was Vidal Sassoon's counterpart on the other side of London. And that's where a lot of other people went, like Trevor Sorby and some of the different people that are super, like,
it happens.
I feel
people move on.
Yeah. And when John Frieda, was folding towels like an art form, literally, instead of all the other assistants whose turn it was to actually work with Leonard took John instead and made him his assistant, because of how precise he was, and how, he could see that no matter what job John was being given,
he did it with love.
He did it. Yeah, he did it to the best of his ability. So I'm always saying, every day we go to work, we need to shine up and not show up. And we need to remember that, like, we don't punch in and out of our dreams. It's not a clock that we're punching in and out of. And if we, are coming late, or if we're, lying, we're saying we're sick, or whatever it may be, like, or not showing up to education at the salon, education classes, the only person that you're cheating is yourself.
100%. Yes.
It really is.
100%.
So,
I think even when I was an assistant, I went above and beyond. That's really how I learned. And I tell this to people, the assistants,
how you got where you are.
I used to do the order, and, I don't think we really had a manager towards the end at Orbe. So I would do they would allow me to do the ordering of supplies and stuff like that. And, hiring and firing of people was crazy. I was just a kid at the time, but they gave me all this responsibility, and I didn't ask for any money extra. It wasn't about the money at all to me, and I was young and I needed money. And I went into debt as an assistant because I spent a lot of money, and I didn't live at home with my parents or whatever. So I did a lot of the work, and I never asked for extra compensation. And by the way, at that time we were getting paid like $100 a week if we were lucky working. I only recognized what 40 hours were in the last like 4 or 5 years. I never understood what 40 hours is, because I've never worked a 40-hour week.
No. And, there is, that saying, there is no shortcut to success. And that actually is really true.
So, like, I think that people should take upon themselves to do extra, to learn extra, because in the long run, it benefits you and only you. So I was able to open a salon. I knew where to order my towels from. I knew where to get my robes from. I knew how to place a color order. I knew, like, how to hire and fire people. I was already doing it for somebody else. So I was able to do it for myself. But had I not taken on that extra responsibility, I would probably wouldn't even know where to start.
Well, the thing is that you're always in training, right? We're supposed to, I'm always in training. I have 7 books in here that I'm reading bits and pieces. I listen as I'm walking, outside. I listen to business books. But I'm a sicko. I've always been a sicko, but you don't keep a business in business for 20 years and stay on top for 20 years if all you're doing is staying the same. You have to adapt. And here we are in another situation. And that very well. Social media comes into the scene, and all of a sudden you're like, shit, we didn't do this before. I'm no,
Right.
you have to
I'm also
learn,
still
you
slow on
know.
my social media. I don't have as many followers as I probably should. But then again, I'm also from a different school, and I'm more like, when I work, I work. I don't really I'm not used to having the spotlight on me. I'm used to working and being in the background, like doing Beyonce's hair
Yeah.
in the background. Like the spotlight's not on me. It's on the person I'm working on. So this actually pandemic made me actually go in front of the camera more and do a lot of
Well,
tutorials and stuff
I
like
mean,
that, which I've never done before.
yeah, but it is, I mean, we just did a 10-hour class,
It
a
was amazing.
10-hour show yesterday. It was 10 hours long, and we said it was going to be 7, but we're like, nobody's got to get on a plane. So we're going to keep on going. We had a great lineup of, the best people in all those categories. And, and it's changed. I mean, it's democratized education. It's changed.
Yes.
It's democratized clients. Like, it's meaning it's democratized, it's not, in the old days of hair, like you had to go work at the right place if you wanted to be a celebrity hairdresser, and then you had to know someone many times, and then in manufacturers you had to get tapped on the shoulder and then get tapped on the shoulder again and again to get on stage. So just like music, I mean, Instagram has democratized, if you want to be a star, you've got a platform and you can do it, and they've done it. And we also started the first ever influencer program. So we have over 150 influencers now on contract working for over 50 manufacturers.
Right. But I just think my 2 cents with this social media is, like, I see a lot of the work that people are doing, and it's not so much about the work that they're doing, because sometimes it's like, whoa, what was that? That does not look good. And I bet when they brush their hair, half of it's going to fall out. That's, it's more about the production of it that people watch. So for me, I think that it's important for people to be educated first and learn your craft and learn how to do color right and learn how to, be healthy using chemicals, and then, get your production done. But, don't filter your work, because that's not fair, because people come into the salon and say, I want this color. And I'm like, that's not even a real color.
It's a filter.
That's like filtered. So, it'd be nice if people showed true, honest work and not filter the hell out of it, because clients do look at it and they come in and it's like, they don't know what's real and what's not, because they just don't. We know what's real and what's attainable with hair. There's only a certain amount of blonde you can do to somebody who has dark hair like this without having a lot of breakage. So I feel like that for me would be an amazing thing if people started doing hair without filtering the hell out of it.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I think that I think the thing that's been so great though about social media is it's, years ago you would use one color line or 2 color lines in a salon. And now, people I think hairdressers have become so much more experimental.
I never believed in using one color line. It's impossible. It's like using one brand of makeup. You can't do that. Every color line has a different color, they're great in reds, they're great in blondes, they're great in brunettes. Not one color line. It's not one size fits all. So I never really had one color line to use. I never understood that either.
Well, if you think about most colorists though, who are working for somebody else and they're working for a big salon, they would have, shades EQ there. They would have their permanent color line. They'd have shades, and then maybe a different kind of bleach or whatever, just depending on what it was. But now you're seeing, clay-based lighteners. You're seeing, 9-level lift. Like, you're seeing so many different specialties, and I think that is due to the fact that colorists have become so much more experimental, because they were never allowed in the bigger salons. Not necessarily allowed. You could go work with whatever you want, but you never saw anybody using it anywhere that was something else. So I think social media has done, I think, a lot to support just that level of just experimentation and
knowledge,
getting excited about color and knowledge again. Yeah, I remember
different techniques and stuff like that. I'm all about that. Like, look at and say, oh, that's amazing. Let me try that. Why not?
Yeah, I think it's great. So your salon is, how many guests do you guys normally see before BC?
In one
BC
day?
before coronavirus. Oh my God, we can call it
Yeah.
BC before coronavirus.
True.
I just came up with that. I'm like, oh, that's so sad. BC. How many clients would you guys see
Oh
in a
God,
day?
that's a good question. I should know the answer to that, but I don't. I really don't know. But in
Somebody's asking what your favorite color lines are. What you guys
I
like.
use a little bit of everything. I use a little bit of Clairol, Wella, Matrix, L'Oreal. I'm trying to think, Redken. We use it really a little bit of every color line so that whatever we need. And there's a lot of colorists working there.
Yeah.
So, you know, some people like to use this, some people like to use that. So I have it all for everybody to use. I don't think that when somebody comes in and starts working for me, I don't say, you know, get whatever you want. I say, what is something that you need that we don't have here that we could incorporate so that everybody has what they need creatively, and it's not like you have to like change your life and use what we have here. So I feel like creative freedom for me is a major, major, major important thing to have is creative freedom. I have it with my clients. I have it with my colorist, my stylist. You know, I won't do even a celebrity client that doesn't give me creative freedom. I won't work with them. No.
Really?
What's the point? Yeah.
Really? Well, you know what I mean. Like when you say creative freedom, I mean, they're going to come in and do what, I mean, when you say creative freedom, what do you mean? Like completely changing them, or you're saying
not micromanaging me, telling me what to do, how to use it, you know, how long to leave it on for, you know, I only want to do this. I don't want to, you know, I like to change tone, color, lightness, darkness, deepness, richness. I like to change a little bit, and I like for people to be able to trust me that I'm not going to make them look crazy, and I'm only going to do what's best. And I think the people who work with me know that. So they don't really say anything. I can go in and let's say, you know, tell Beyonce, let's go super blonde today. And she'll be like, okay, or I'm not in the mood, you know. But, you know, let's do it next time I'm going to be on stage, or, you know, I want to go a little darker. I'm like, okay, but, you know, I don't like it when people tell me what to do, because it's not about the technique I'm using. It's the end result. Yeah. So if you're, you know, putting me in a box and telling me to use one technique, it might not be the technique to use for you. Maybe you saw it somewhere, but it's not for you.
You actually have clients. I thought you were just talking about what color they were going to be. You're actually talking like you have clients coming in telling you what technique to use and how long to leave it on for?
Some people do, yeah. Some people do. I mean, these are people who are, I'm sure many colorists have clients that come in and say, saw this online, I want you to do this for me, or, you know, this is exactly what I want, or how are you going to do this? I mean, as a colorist, I've heard it all. They like try, some people think they know better than you. Lighten this piece here, lighten that piece here, do this, do that. Yeah, it's like, listen, this is not a strand by strand thing going on here. This is like a look. We're creating a look, and it's going to be multi-dimensional, and you're either going to like it or you're not, and don't come back to me, you know. But some people have to micromanage, but that's a personal thing for them, you know. But I won't do any clients that behave that way, because it should be fun.
Have you fired some clients before?
I have. Yes.
How do you do it? People always ask us that question. Like, how do you do it? You give them a gift certificate to the salon?
No, that's mean for the other person. You know, honestly, I just say.
I was like, find the biggest diva at the salon down the street that's just a total bitch, and then give her a gift certificate to go there.
I've seen people do that, and it's so mean. I would never do that to anybody. And I like everybody, so it's not like I wouldn't do that to somebody, but I would, you know, I would just say, listen,
I'm just teasing.
I'm not the person for you. You know, you should have what you want. This is the look you want, and you should have it. It's just not an aesthetic that I like, and I don't feel comfortable doing it. So you should find somebody who specializes in the look that you want and go see them. So yeah, I don't know who that person is, but it's not me. You know, and sometimes like if there's somebody in the salon that can do a look better than I can, I'll say, oh, here is Nicole. She can do it. better than I can. This is her thing. You should go see her. So really, it's about being honest. If you can't do something, it's not time to like practice on a person, or if you don't like something, shouldn't do it for the money, because you won't enjoy doing it and you'll have.
I also think, I think hairdressers, you know, well, forget hairdressers. I think just human beings in general feel like if they couldn't make that work, there was something wrong with them. And also just our, you know, like just our, I just think that hairdressers need to have, you know, more self-worth and say, look, if like protect your energy, you know what I mean? If there's one thing that I feel like if we could just get out of, you know, all of this is like this whole thing, I think, because I always get frustrated when people are always like, you know, people are so polarizing about politics. They're so polarizing about so many things. Like, I wish that we could just get through this pandemic. And I feel like, and I just wish that we could, you know, set some boundaries for ourselves, set some boundaries for our energy as we come back. And then also just set some level of tolerance. And I hate to use the word tolerance, but like, I'm going to respect whatever your choices and decisions are around your life. And I won't judge you for it. Like,
I also
really
think that people shouldn't really discuss politics in that kind of situation. It's like it's a lose-lose. You want to make your client happy, and sometimes they have very different politics than you. But you know what? It also goes to the clients too. A lot of people make their clients feel uncomfortable of asking for a change, or they didn't like it last time. I mean, it's annoying to hear as a creative person. I didn't like what you did last time, but the truth is they didn't like it last time. And, you know, you have to be willing to listen and take it in and say, okay, fine, I may screw that up, whatever, you didn't like it. Tell me what it was that you didn't like it. And then, you know, you'll move on from that and then, you know, change what you did and make them happy, instead of a client being afraid to actually vocalize what they want, because that's not a good client. You have to be open enough for your clients to tell you, I like this, I didn't like this, so that you can have a good relationship.
So Rita, when you are having a consultation with a new client or even an existing client where she comes in and she's like, I want to try something a little different or whatever, to make sure that you guys are on the same page, are you guys sharing images from Instagram back and forth and saying, hey, this is what I think we could accomplish on, you know, session 1, session 2, like, because I feel like one of the hardest things in the world, especially before we had pictures and everybody was walking in, you know, with a picture with, you know, Kim Kardashian made me look like this. And it's like, let's, you know, Kevin, our social media director, is insanely funny. He's my funny sidekick. And he's like, well, just give me a piece of tape and I'll tape it to your forehead, because that's as close as I'm going to get to making you look like that. And, you know, he's very funny. But the point is now that we do have so many different choices and images, it's not just a magazine anymore. There's, you know, I remember Justin Anderson sitting on one of our panels at our big show, and then Anko Tran was there, and this was like 4 years ago, before On and Johnny really got that big, you know what I mean, like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And so On was not doing any celebrities at all, and I remember, and Justin's doing all the celebrities, and I remember Justin and On, and I think they met that day for the first time, and I remember Justin saying, dude, On, I've got people coming in with your pictures every single day asking for this. And it was just the coolest experience, because that was 5 years ago. And to see the inspiration that comes, you know, from it, that it was, you know, it was a celebrity looking for this look from a non-celebrity, you know.
Well, both of them are amazing people. And also, social media is great for marketing, 100%. I'm not taking that away from social media. I think it's very important, and you need it to market yourself these days as, you know, colorist or a stylist or a technician of any kind. It's a very, very helpful tool, and it's a necessary tool too. You can't do one without the other, because it sort of like goes hand in hand right now. So it's like you need to showcase your work somehow, because again, it used to be like you would be in magazines, but magazines aren't really relevant right now anymore. So how are you going to do it? And that's the easiest way to do it. And if somebody's not in the fashion world or in the celebrity world, this is their chance to be able to showcase their work
in their town.
Exactly.
Right,
Because
exactly.
just because you don't live
Like
in New
become
York
the
doesn't mean you're
best.
not a great colorist or a stylist. You know what I mean?
No. And also, we say all the time, like, be the best updo stylist, not just in your salon, but in your whole town.
Totally.
Like, these are the ways you choose your specialty, and you choose your lane, and you go down that lane, and that's what you become really known for. So, but as we talked about yesterday, you need to post what you want to attract. Whatever you
Right.
post on your social media is going to be what you're going to
Yeah, but that's the
attract
same thing
as a
with your
client.
clientele, right? You usually attract the
Yeah.
clientele that's closest to your personality, right? So people
Right.
who want to sit down, pull up a chair and talk to me for 40 minutes and like take their time, they're not going to come back to me because I'll be in and out in like 10 minutes with them finishing their work. So people who want quick but like good quality hair will come to me. Somebody who wants to sit and like, chit chat for an hour is not coming to me because I don't have the time or it's not my personality either. So I think you attract the kind of people that you are like,
I love
you know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah.
So like a lot of my
Yeah.
clients are, businesswomen or even stay-at-home moms that need to get out or just don't want to sit, or they have ADD and they want to get the hell out of it. They don't want to sit in a salon all day. Like 4-hour highlights isn't my style. You're not going to be in here for that long. An hour, hour and a half, and go.
It's funny because some of the creative color that people will say, oh, that's so pretty on Instagram. The thing is, it's 8 hours, it costs a lot, and it's one client a day.
Yes.
And that's if you're lucky, you got that client that will do it. So, I mean, blonding and great coverage is still the meat and potatoes of the business for sure. There's no question that's the case. But I mean, and so when people say, oh, but balayage is like, or blonding it's all over the internet, but it's all over Instagram because that is actually what pays the bills, and it's what grows your clientele.
Course, yeah.
No question that's the case. So going back to consultation.
I love a consultation.
Is that what
I
you
think
do? Going back to
the most time I spend on anybody is a consultation. So important, I think. For me, it's the most important because, okay, so now people have all these terms and lingos. They don't even know what it means, but they like throw it at you. Like, I want balayage and, I want to smudge and, use a level 6 on me, and I'm usually a level 10. And, they just throw all these words. I'm like, what are you talking about? You have no idea what you're saying. None of this makes sense. Explain to me in like words what you want. Show me pictures. Like, I want my hair ash. I don't want it brassy. But then they'll show you a picture of like a warm blonde. I'm like, you have no idea what words you're using. Stop trying to use salon lingo because it's not for you. It's for people behind the scene, not for clients to use. So for that, so I like to take my time and say, okay, what do you mean by cool tones? What do you mean by darker? What do you mean by you want to go darker? What's darker mean to you? Darker could be one shade for somebody.
But are you looking at pictures? Are you looking at pictures then? Because that's what I'm saying is
totally like, looking at pictures because the words that they're using sometimes doesn't make any sense. Like, is this warm or is this warm? What do you think is warm? Is this cool or is that cool? So you need a visual for people to like be able to articulate what they're saying because they don't know the verbiage to use. So I think pictures are very important for a client because again, they don't know what they're saying. So they're just using words that they hear.
And what about those that come in and say, so I've heard about Olaplex or one of the other ones, and you're going to get me in and out. They're your color, and I want to be platinum in a couple hours. I mean, it's like it's funny, thinking that, but that's one of the conversations that goes on a lot, and I suppose that there's enough that's out there now to show people how that.
Yes, and I also I don't have many prices. I have a single price, a highlight price, and a corrected price. So I don't really change my prices. So whatever you're quoted, you're quoted. If I have to do it, if it takes me 5 minutes, that's the price. If it takes me 5 hours, that's the price. And I like to tell people also, because for me it's not about the money, it's about the process. Something could be hard but take me 5 minutes. Or something could be easy and take me 5 hours. It depends on what I'm doing. And also, I don't like sticker shock when they go to check out. I want them to know and agree in advance, this is what it is, because I'm not getting screwed at the end of a 3-hour process that, they told me it was like $100. and it's like an $800 you know what I mean? So I'm like, this is how much it's going to cost. And it is an awkward conversation to have, but it's a very important conversation to have. So I suggest that people tell their price before they do all that work, so that you don't do all that work and then you're discounting at, you know, or they never come back, or, you know what I mean? So upfront conversations about money are very important, even though it's super uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's super uncomfortable because, again, I think when I was younger, I remember how difficult it was. Like, clients wouldn't pay us for a long time, and I would be embarrassed or feel weird to ask them to pay me. There was a time, and I don't know when it was, where all of a sudden I'm like, look, like, this is bullshit, you know? Because my
Right.
dad always taught me, like, if somebody does service for you, you pay the bill right away. And I feel like and I think
Well, because they
again,
think we're having great time, you know, it's so easy, so fun
yeah,
to do hair, but we're making money. This is a business. Yes, we're having fun and we're creative and we love what we do. Yes. But I'm here to make money at the end of the day. So pay up. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think, I would love to know your opinion, because you've been doing this for quite some time. How do you think the reputation of hairdressers has changed over the last decade?
Oh my God. I think that
A ton.
major, it's like a 360. I
Yeah.
think hairdressers went from being like, you know, like not not a great job to have. Like, even when I
Frederick
wanted to be a colorist, my mother said, that's not a job for a woman. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm doing this. To now it's like, you know, a job that people like strive to have. It's an amazing job to have, you know, people, especially like you have opportunities to work with celebrities and to be known and to be like, you know, famous hairdresser. I think that it really changed tremendously. And I think people like really want to do it and are like proud of the job, and not like, I'm a dumb hairdresser, you know, there's no such thing as a dumb hairdresser.
No, it's funny, because Frederick was the one that said it to me the first time, and well, the only time, and I've used it, so I've said it so many times. The way that he described it was, you know, that we'd all walk through the back door. We were never invited through the front door.
Yeah.
And now hairdressers are being invited through the front door to be at the party, not just to do the hair for the party.
Big time, and getting awards for it too.
Yeah, and I love, you know, I love that. I think it's great. I think that social media,
and by the way, it was mostly a male dominated industry too. Women did not have like a voice, or women were not considered like, you know,
not
at all for anything.
No, I mean,
so
Sally,
it's really, I mean, when I opened my salon, I think it was me and Sally in Manhattan that had a salon, you know. Sally. And she's a stylist, not even a colorist. I think it was the first colorist woman to open a salon in the size of, you know, in a big luxury market. So it was, and do you know how many people told me I'm crazy and why am I doing this? And it's like not a good idea. And I'm like, okay, whatever. This is what I'm doing. Be part of it. Don't be part of it. Whatever. It's happening. It's not like I'm not asking an opinion. I'm just letting you know this is what's happening. But it's nice now to see that a lot of women own salons and are colorists and are celebrity colorists and are, you know, doing their thing. It makes me very proud to see, because first of all, we're women, we're our own clients. You know what I mean? How could men dominate what we, you know, it's our hair, our beauty. You know, we know, nobody knows what it feels like to get a bad haircut more than a woman. Nobody knows what it feels like to get bad highlights more than a woman. You know what I mean? So it's important for us to dominate our own industry, or share it. You don't have to dominate, share. I said that wrong.
Why do you think that it was? Because it still is. I mean, it's so much better, but it's still, if you look at the numbers, it still is male dominated. I mean, there's no question that that's true. As it relates to celebrity, it's gotten 100 times better.
This is my theory.
Why do you think that? Why do you think it was?
I think back in the day, women, not now, back in the day, women liked to be touched by men. And they wanted the gay man to touch them and, you know, tell them how fabulous they are and, just give them the confidence that they need. Other than a woman to woman kind of relationship was a little bit awkward maybe. But I think that, if you're a cool girl or, you can relate to people in a different way, women, and actually I think that, I'm saying this wrong. I think that women started working more and getting more corporate jobs and, being, I think that they started to say, you know what, I don't need attention from a man. I need good work. And this girl does good work, so I'm going to her. She's fast, she's good, no nonsense. Let's get this going. It's not about a man like trying to make me feel good. I think women started taking control over themselves and knowing what they want and don't need like accolades from men. So I think it's like a different time now where women are strong, have great jobs, and they know what they want. And it's just a different time. So I love that women now are taking control of their own destinies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. And it's funny because it is true. Like we were thinking about like our influencer group, and I was thinking about the same thing but like there's a ton of female owned, I mean, the top colorists are female, it seems like, for the most part now, in terms of celebrity colorists. Like if you Tracy, I mean, you just think about all the women. I mean, there's a lot of women.
Rihanna, Nikki, all these girls, Marie. All these girls are like killing the game. Nikki, why not?
And Marie, we were there for her opening. Yeah, it's really, which is so
amazing.
Nice.
I love it.
It's also, it's everybody. It's so much more difficult than a haircut. So you got to go to a woman who's smarter than a man. I'm just kidding.
You're in trouble for that comment.
Come on.
I think it's really about finding somebody that, again, that you connect with, that you can vibe with, that does great work, that you love. It doesn't matter if it's male, female, just somebody who you like, and and trust. Exactly.
Yeah. And that does the work that is the expert of what you're looking for. Because I think that more and more people definitely even specialize in certain kinds of color.
For sure.
Like for sure. Well. So tell us, so during the unfortunate situation we're in right now, what did you guys do with your team? Did you guys furlough, or did you have to lay them off and then bring them back? Did you guys?
The thing is, when we closed a week early than they told us we should, just because it was just, it made me very nervous to have any of my people working, and it sounded really scary. So what we did was we closed the salon and we offered color kits to all of our clients who were on the schedule. So we created these kits for everybody to be able to do at home. And we got a massive response from our color clients saying, okay, fine, I don't know how long we're going to be in lockdown, but I need to get my hair done, so send it to me, whatever. So we had an amazing response for that. And then I saw other people doing it, so I was kind of happy that I posted that, because it gave people the idea of.
So for the last 5 weeks, I've been taking so much shit, not anymore, but in the beginning when I came out saying, look, Madison Reed and eSalon are up tenfold right now. So you guys can either provide, it's not like they're going to another client. Sorry, they're not going to another hairdresser. And it's not fair for you to say every time, come cut my hair.
I'm back. I was like, whoa, what happened there?
It's like just two girls are drinking a bottle. I'm not even saying
I know.
I'm saying a bottle. You have your bottle, I have my bottle. And then our hour was, and all of a sudden they cut me off. Usually
so fast
doesn't do that. But anyway, so what I was saying is, I was like, again, my brain is always going like, okay, so we can't control this, but we can control how we're going to manage through it. And part of having money in the bank and part of being safe financially is the fact that you don't have to worry. And so, you of course you're going to worry, but I always call it scare and prepare. I'm going to scare the shit out of you. I feel like that's my job. It's my tough love to say this could be really, really bad. So I'm going to scare you, and then I'm going to ask you to prepare yourself, to get prepared, and then to start thinking about what could happen on the backside, where you've got all these clients that were supposed to come in, and people are like, I'm a professional, I can't do root touch-up kits, I can't do this. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, but Madison Reed and eSalon right now are going to take those clients from you. So if you think that a root touch-up kit for the T-zone, if you think that that is like what your specialty is, and you think that as a professional they can't do that, like, you are sadly mistaken. And also, when people would say, just wait for me, like, just go gray, go, it's they're not,
No, they're not waiting.
you're not their client. You're
Right.
they're your client, and it's not fair to tell a woman who's sitting on Zoom meetings all day long that she should go gray because you need to wait for her. Like, that's just not fair. It's not a fair conversation to have. So,
well, fair or not, it's just you have to be, I think you have to be realistic. I mean, some people were asking, you know, is this legal? Is this not legal? I don't really know the answer to that, but I can't imagine it being so illegal if you can buy box color at home and you're already preparing it for them and just helping them apply it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if it is or not, but I do know that we're in a time of crisis and you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And I have my root concealer, you know, I thank God I invented the root concealer. So I have that, and a lot of my clients use it, and people have been buying that. So you know, I'm lucky with that.
Show it to us. Show us what it does.
Okay, so, here, hold on, the wrong one. This is the root concealer. So the root concealer basically is a temporary color spray, and you spray it like, you know, a few inches apart. This is too dark for me, but you just lightly spray it and it covers your gray. So a lot of people have been using this at home if they're afraid to do the hair color, and that's fine. You know, we have like this huge promo going on my website so that people can afford to use the products and buy them, and, you know, we can make some money doing this. But I also think that once we're able to open, I think that we're going to be very busy. Yeah. And, you know, people may not make up what they lost, but they will be able to rebuild again and quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's the big preparation that you know, so many people have said, oh my gosh, there's going to, you know, they're going to be flooding in, all my clients are going to be back. And I keep saying, you know, as part of your preparation, it's time, like, make sure that you're reaching out to every single one of your clients. Find out how they're doing. Is everybody well? And most importantly, from a business perspective, ask them, do they have their job? Did they lose their job? Because that will help you gauge also whether they can afford to come back and see you. And when this whole root touch-up kit thing came, and timing is everything. Like, if we've reinvented our company 6 times, like, completely reinvented it. You have to. So, like, I think root touch-up kits, honestly, will become a product. I really believe that. Or again, selling root touch-up spray in the salon will become a very real thing as we move into the future, because it's, you know, if they can't afford, you know, to come in for highlights, but they need to get their roots done, then why would you not provide that service to them?
I actually do not think that anybody should be using bleach at home. I think that is a disaster. But if you want to do your roots, you can do. Right. You know, at first I was a little like, you know, hold off. But like after 5 weeks, it's like there is no holding off anymore. You know, you don't have the luxury of holding off, because again, you're right. People are on Zoom calls and they're working and they want to take. And by the way, you want to feel good. You know, even if you're home and it's just you and your husband and your family. You don't want to look like an old hag with like gray roots. You want to look good. You want to look good for yourself. You want to look good for your husband. If you look good, you feel good. At least it takes the edge off. So yes, it's important to adjust. You know, do you want to do this all the time? Root kits at home? Yeah. No. You want people to come into the salon and get their hair done, and they want to as well. Yeah. You know, it's not like they don't want to. They're dying to come in, but now nobody can, and it's not like. You know, the whole reason why I created the color kit at home was because I would prefer my clients to maintain their hair color as it is without trying to do box color and screwing it up and then have to fix it. So it was really purely selfish reasons for continuity that I did this kit, rather than say, okay, just go buy, you know, this home. You know, the at-home color and screw it up and then I have to deal with it after. So it was easier for them to have like the continuity of my hair color and
Yeah,
then to
no,
do it
I
at
love that.
home than to buy a box
Yeah.
and screw it up. So it was a selfish reason, but also it was helpful for my clients at the same time. And
How
we
much?
did make money, yes.
How much do you charge? Did you charge for it?
Well, you know, it's we charge. It depends for certain. You know, dependent on
You
some
don't have.
people.
Yeah, you don't have to say.
We charge different amounts for. You know, it depends on what the colorist would charge, and everybody charged different prices. But we tried to be fair enough with everybody.
Yeah, and I think yeah,
But we
it's
also
tricky.
shipped the color out. I know a lot of people was picking. You know, they had pickup at the salon. We weren't allowed to do that, I guess, because we're in a building and now building is closed. But we did ship
Oh,
it out, and we shipped
yeah,
out products and stuff like that. So we tried to
oh,
do the
that's
best we
great.
can to, you know, continue some kind of finance in one day. You know.
So to that point, I mean, what's the state saying now, or the city saying about you guys going back? I mean, is there a plan? Is there a date yet? Any idea?
No, no, we have no idea. Zero clue. You know, they said till May 15th that the city's on shutdown, but I don't know if, you know, all of this like controversy about Georgia opening salons first. I don't know if that put the wrong taste in people's mouths for us, and we might be screwed, and we can, you know, we're gonna have to wait longer because I don't know if that's, you know, what's the difference between May
There
15th
isn't.
and June 1st?
There,
It's like two
no,
weeks
that's
and
that's what I
nothing's
was
going to
saying.
dramatically change. But,
Yeah,
you know, you have to rip the Band-Aid off at some point. Be
right.
safe. And by the way, the people who don't feel safe, don't come
Don't come
in.
back.
Just don't come
Exactly.
in, you know. But for the people who want to come in and want to take the choice, if people don't want to come to work, their technicians and my staff, my employees, they don't have to come back. It's fine. You know, whatever you're comfortable with is fine with me. But some people are comfortable, some people are not. So the people who are comfortable should be able to get back to work, and the people who are not comfortable don't have to.
Yeah, I think like I said, I talked to Van Council, who is a huge Aveda salon. He has 8 salons in Atlanta, so he's the largest salon owner in Georgia. He also has 42 salons in Japan, which
Right.
is interesting. So he was talking a lot about the Japanese and just the nature where they don't touch each other, right? And
Right.
everything, it's just. And he was saying, how they've had so few cases, but they did open. They were given the opportunity to open. They normally service 1,500 clients a day. They serviced 500 clients on the first day, because I talked to him the first day, and I know I'll have him come back this week just to talk to us about how the reopening. He said it was very smooth. He said clients were excited to be back. The staff was very excited to be back. Some of them aren't going to be back for a while, but they opened with 50% of their team, and they've taken every possible precaution that you could. I mean, that's
Right.
what he's so good at in terms of systems. He teaches a lot of systems for Aveda for all of their salons, but they were checking temperatures. They, it was the every other chair policy.
I think we're going to even do shifts, different people, different
Yeah,
days.
and they are not blow drying hair, and they're not shampooing hair unless it's color. So they're not doing any shampoos for cutting, and they're not blow drying because of the fear of pushing the virus around in the air.
Right. But if
So
everybody's met, this is my question. And, you know, if there's somebody that is, you know, educated in this, I would love to know the answer to it. If I'm wearing a mask and a shield, and you're wearing, as a client, a mask, and if everybody's covered, it's going, the whatever germs are going to blow when you blow dry hair to who? If everybody's like securely safe.
I think what he's trying to do is to open with every possible precaution, because
Right.
one of the and I don't know the answer. That's what they decided to do. And
I'm just wondering. I would like to know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Just in general, you know. Okay, so fine, we won't blow dry people's hair. Okay, fine, but what is the?
Well,
Is
that's
that?
the first. So Rita, that's the first time I've heard that. I haven't heard anybody else say that. That was the first time
I've heard that
ever
a lot, and I'm like,
you
I
have
don't get
heard
it. If
that a lot.
everybody's covered, who's catching what and what's happening?
And I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know either.
I have absolutely no idea, because the
Right.
problem is after 4 months now, we still don't have enough data that tells us really, again, remember, we've been told so many different
I
things
know.
about the virus, and I still keep thinking there should be more data. Like, we should have, if every doctor, the number of doctors working out, we should have more data to know how, like, that distance, or whether it's blowing in the air or whatever. But I think he's trying to be
people have good
extra
questions.
precaution.
Like, does it stick to the hair? Does it stick to the clothes? I don't know. And I don't know if anybody knows these answers, really.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. And I think that Van felt exactly the way that we feel, is that it's not going away. So, and this is what I was saying even like 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it's not going away.
No.
You know, so we're either going to go back to work with it or not. But if we don't get the country to start back up again, you know, we're not going to have anything to go back to. I mean, we'll be in such a state of depression, and people can call that fear mongering all day, but if you haven't been through a recession, you really don't know how bad it can be. And
right.
So
I know, but you have a lot of people who are like, you know, their families and you know, one of the healthcare, you know, in hospitals, and they're like, you know, it's disaster. You don't know what a disaster is until you're like in it and all that. I understand that perspective, but at the same time, there is life to be lived also. You know, yes, protect yourself, but you can't live in a world of doom and gloom every single day, every hour. It's unhealthy, you know, but you have to, I'm not saying like, you know, do whatever the hell you want. I'm saying be careful, wear your mask, wear your shield. You know, even when you go outside, you should be able to, you know, like move a little bit at some point, but also stay safe. So is salon the most essential thing? Maybe to some people, no, but maybe to other people, yes. You know, I see all of these guys that are here preaching about everything, all getting their hair cut somehow, getting color done. So they're doing it on the down low.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's essential for them at some point. It's essential for other people too, you know, so it's not fair.
I think that everybody's using essential, in my mind, in the wrong way. I think that people are thinking that the word essential means important, like that we're not important, that we're not essential. But the point is like that's not essential means, and I get essential, but I think that they're also like saying we're the closest. You can't get any closer than what hairdressers get to somebody, other than if you're doing
100%. Yes, that's what's scary, is that you're right. You are faced. You're on top of each other. Correct.
So I don't think that people should be so like we're not essential or we are essential. Or like, it's not about. Yes, you are important. Everybody knows
you're in the danger zone for sure. We're in the danger zone. But
exactly, and that's why I keep saying to everyone, and my personal belief is I agree with what you're saying 100%. Like. There are so many things we could catch. I'm on 300 acres out here. I'm going to go out hunting for morel mushrooms after I get off the phone with you.
Fancy.
Into the woods. And I do it all the time. It's the season. It only lasts for 2 weeks. And you go out and hunt them down. Instead of paying $85 a pound, they're right outside.
Good for you. Nice.
No, but
no hunting here on the Lower East Side.
Yeah, but guess, for everybody out there, guess what? There are ticks in that woods. And I could get Lyme disease and it could kill me.
Oh, God forbid.
Yeah, no, I thought last year, I had a tick embedded in my back. And we were at Washington, D.C. It was the craziest thing. We were in Washington, D.C. I had a tick embedded. It literally was trying to embed almost on my spine. And I was like, and we were in a meeting with like 25 people at the hotel in New York City where we were putting on our big BTC show. And all of a sudden, I just felt this. And it was like crazy for something that small. I've had ticks a million times on me I'm always in the woods. And it literally was burrowing down like right on top of my spine.
Wow.
And so I was tested for Lyme's disease. I know people with Lyme's disease. But the point is like we can get a lot of things and we don't know enough about it. And it's scary.
I actually found a tick on my two clients' heads once. Two different people. When I was, it's so fun.
On the head, right?
I found it on her hair when I was highlighting it. Just like I guess the bleach was like suffocating it, so it came out. I'm like, whoa, what the hell is that?
In your whole career, you have only found 2 ticks on a head.
Yeah. Well, I'm in New York City.
I know, but you guys have ticks. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if we have ticks, but it was really disgusting. Well, a lot of the clients have like, homes that they have go outside. But
I have to shower. I have to take all my clothes off when I come back from the woods, and I shower completely down. I put all of my clothes right into every single time I go, right into the washing machine, and I wash it all down and I take a shower because they really I mean, I have them on me all
Right, but
season.
somebody said you can't see the virus. It's, you know, you can't see it, so you don't know what to look for. I get it. I get that a lot of people are scared. I do, and it is a scary thing. You should be scared, but you should all. But you know, this conversation is not saying go out now and like, you know, do what you got to do. It's a conversation, and I keep telling people that you have to be prepared. You have to have the conversation because, you know, as an industry, we are in the danger zone, and the more you talk about it, the more we can figure it out together. And it's not about judging or saying you're pulling the trigger too fast and you're money hungry and you're just doing this for the money. You don't care about anything. It's not about that. Eventually, we're going to open. You are, and you need to know, you need to be knowledgeable, and you need to know how to protect yourself, and you need to take preventative caution from today, because if they let you open in a month, again, you can't just get supplies delivered overnight. It doesn't work like that anymore. You know, it takes weeks and weeks to order. You know, doctors can't even get a mask. How are they going to sell it to hairdressers? You know what I mean? So you need to get on a list. You need to know who to purchase these things from, these shields and masks, the disposable garments and all that stuff. You need to know where to get it from, how to get it, put a lot of work into it. Even if you don't own a salon and you're an independent contractor, you still need to have the knowledge of what your next move is. And having conversation doesn't hurt anybody. It's just helpful. So just be open-minded and not like knock down people who are trying to figure it out for everybody. I think that's the point that I was trying to make in my Instagram the other day, saying like we need to have a conversation and decide. And by the way, so many people DM'd me about this and said, you know, you're right. We need to have a conversation. And this is what I'm thinking. And what do you think about this? And how are you planning on doing it? So together as an industry, together we can figure this out, because we need to. You can't just like get rid of a whole industry of people and say, wait it out till September. It's not going to work.
No. And I think, and again, as you said, and this is it, honestly, literally, I could have literally taken my last several lives, put them on replay, and you said exactly every single thing that I've said. Or like I literally could have put it on replay, because please, let's not, that's when I was talking about politics. I was not talking about actual politics. I was talking more about the politics of judging each other. About like, you're trying to kill me. You're trying to kill me if you go back to work, or you're trying to kill people if you go back to work.
Nobody's trying to kill anyone.
And I think the thing is,
why would anybody want to put somebody in danger? I don't get that. We're not in the industry of that. We're in the industry of like beauty and love and like fun and togetherness. That's the industry, is making everybody feel good, not getting people sick and killed. It's not the point of what this is. It's a conversation of how can we move on.
Yeah, because I think because we've said exactly the same thing. It's not going to go away tomorrow or a month from now or 2 months from now. So,
they're talking about 18 months for a vaccine. So is everybody prepared to stay home for a year?
No.
I don't understand.
It's kind of like, you know, I had a really intense conversation with Anko Tran a couple days ago, and he got really deep about, you know, having come over from, and he hasn't, I think, really told the story online before, but I had known that he was a refugee from, oh my God, from, where, guys? Oh my gosh, Vietnam. I'm having a senior moment. From Vietnam. So he was a Vietnamese refugee, and came over on a boat with his family because of communism. They didn't, and it was a really, they were on food stamps, you know, I mean, it was a really, really intense story. I think we just put it up on IGTV. It was a really, really intense story, but he wanted to also share it because he wanted people to know, like, that, you know, that this world is changing, like what we knew. And his family, literally, they were a democracy in Vietnam, and he was the youngest of 9 kids. They were a democracy in Vietnam, and then they became communist, and they took everything away from his family. They took everything that belonged to them. They took their money, they took their land, they took everything. So his parents, you know, put them on a fishing boat, all 9 of them, 10 of them, and brought them to America with nothing, like the clothes on their back. And, you know, and those were the fishing boats that had pirates, and that would, you know, if there was, you know, any storm, they'd be dead. Like, so that happened, and they ended up being in Austin, and his parents were on food stamps, and it was a really, like, really, really bad thing. And he would talk about how his parents would go out at night. They all slept in 3 beds. So 11 of them slept in 3 beds. And he said that his parents would go out at night looking for food in the garbage cans, to feed the family.
Horrible.
And, so you look at him today, and I think he wanted people to know the struggle that he went through, and that, we still have to live. Like, we still have to live.
Well, you have to figure out the new normal. Whether it's the first people who can, or the first, people who can open, or you're the second wave of people, or the third wave of people, whatever the wave you are on, you still need to be prepared. So I feel like that's the take home of these conversations, is that we're just trying to get prepared. And really, we need to change the way we do business now, like full time. Yeah. Not just the next few months. I think full on, we need to change how we do business, because God knows if this is going to come again, if we're going to have another second wave of Corona, or another pandemic soon, or, not to be doom and gloom, but we need to figure out how we can work as an industry in a new way, maybe take different precautions.
So Rita, so Van, and then there's a major salon owner in Chicago that owns several salons in Chicago. That is Salon Buzz in Chicago. There's a bunch. There's like 6 or 7 salon owners across the country that have the best salons in their areas, and they have great systems in place, big salons. And one of the things that they're working on is like an actual kind of system, basically, of how they're going to do all of these things that they're going to do, like in first round, second round, third round. So that first round, where they're going to wear every, full on, they're not going to blow dry, they're not going to wash, other than if it's color. That's going to be like, this is this full on, we're going to prepare. Right. We're not even going to take credit cards. We're going to have you pay in advance. Right. There's no magazines, no coffee, none of that stuff. And so they have this whole system that they're putting together, and that's what Van was operating under when they opened the Georgia locations, 8 of the locations when they opened back up. The thing that kind of pissed me off, though, is on the news, of course, they were showing this. There were some salons that didn't open, and they showed these beautiful, luxurious salons that didn't open, and the only ones that they showed that did open were mom and pop shops. And that kind of pissed me off, because it was a complete, look, these people weren't smart, these mom and pop shops, but this salon that was beautiful and, and empty, and we're not going to, risk lives, didn't open. But yet Van's salons are, they're stunning, they're beautiful. They didn't talk to the biggest salon. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes me mad, because good people are opening their salons back again, and they're doing it in the most precautious, with every precaution that they have, because they also know he didn't furlough a single one of his 400 people. He paid them out of his own pocket for 5 weeks. Amazing. Out of his own pocket for 5 weeks. Right. So when people say you just want to kill people, I had a live with him. He's like, really? Because I actually have kept them on board. I have paid and there's not a single salon owner that I know that is capable of doing that. Like, that's incredible that he did it. But he was also concerned about some of the front, some people not coming back, because the government's giving them more with the $600 a week plus their unemployment. That's a $60,000 paycheck, really, than a lot of hairdressers are even making. So some salon owners are saying, are my hairdressers even going to come back, because they're going to make more money staying at home than they will to come back to work? And I think most hairdressers want to get back to work. Most people do, and those people who don't want to probably never really wanted to in the first place. So yeah. I mean, you could always replace people. I think people will take a loss and a gain, and people will be happy and will be pissed, and you're going to have like a lot of different emotions and financials going all over the place right now. I don't think anybody knows, you're going to have people judging one person or another, which I don't even think it's, you could judge me. It doesn't hurt me, because like, I have to make my own decisions for the people that I love and the people in my life. And whether you agree with me or not, I know that I'm doing the right thing. Eventually, when we open, I'm going to make sure that my people are safe, my clients are safe, because we have some clients that are a little bit older, so, and plus I know that I have the space. I am not comparing myself to any other salon, because I know that I'm in
a blessed situation where I have a lot of space. I have an office space next to the salon, so I can take people out of those offices and create private rooms for clients to go in there and get their hair done.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing myself to any other people. I'm just trying to figure out how we can figure this all out together and get ideas from people and give ideas to people so that, you know, we can, as an industry, change and evolve and grow and have a new normal so that we're not like trying to just trying to like go back to the old ways, because that's not going to work, and it's never going to go back to that either, by the way. You know, you need to figure out payment. You know, how are people going to pay? They're going to Venmo. Are you going to like charge before? You're going to charge after? Like the cash back and forth is not going to happen right now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that you need to take into consideration when opening your space again, and retail too, even in like, you know, fashion and, you know, I feel like
that's true. Retail too.
More than anybody, makeup artists, how are they going to do it? Because they don't have like, you know, we mix color and we throw it out and it's a one-time use. But how are you going to be a makeup artist? Use your brush, clean the brush, fine. But what about the compact that you just dipped into there? What are you going to do with that? How are you going to clean that? How are you going to have a new compact for everybody or a new kit for, like, what are they doing? That's what's more scary to me, is like having my makeup done unless I bring my own makeup.
Oh yeah, but that's kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Right, but you have mascara, you have lipstick, you have eyeshadow. All of these things are going in the exact places you're not supposed to touch. So for makeup artists, that's really scary.
Yeah, it is really, really scary. It's true. It's funny because there's so many things. Like I keep saying, it's not like the trickle down effect. It's more like when these people aren't working in their retail location. It's like the salmon up the river effect. Like it affects so many people when restaurants are closed, when retail is closed, when like it's just crazy how these companies have had to, you know, we've lost a ton of we've lost $3 million of business in our first 2 months of this situation happening. But I mean, we have wonderful clients and many of them have stayed through this, our manufacturers, because they know that it's a captive audience. Literally, this is the biggest audience that ever will be probably on Instagram. So it's a great opportunity for them to have that voice. But, you know, like L'Oreal is paying every single one of their employees. Like they haven't furloughed anyone. So they're using those dollars. They're using the dollars that they would pay us or pay other people, you know, other vendors. So, you know, in my mind, you know, and we haven't furloughed anyone either. I've got 35 people and it's not, you know, we'll be upside down this year for sure, but you can't look at it as,
I think everybody's going to be, I don't think you'll be able to make up. I think you're just going to be able to move on.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
The one question, because obviously you're a smart businesswoman, the one question I have for you, and I've been thinking a lot about this as well, just because somebody brought up when I was saying about Van opening and that the media wasn't presenting it in really the best light. And she was saying, but mom and pops probably shouldn't open because they're probably not doing the you know, the safety of all of this, right? So they're not maybe doing the things that they should be doing, which is totally true, could be completely true. But I'm wondering about if there is a new normal that says that we have to be 6 feet apart, we can't double book, we can't do any of these things, we can only do half the clients that we were doing before. When you've got rent on Fifth Avenue or you've got rent in any expensive location,
we're going to have to renegotiate with the landlord.
I was going to say, how do you pay those bills? Because if the salon is open, it's open. The people are there. They're servicing guests. You've got front desk staff, and you're paying for all of your utilities and
a lot of overhead. Yeah. So we're going to have a conversation with our landlord and see what we can do. And we might even have to move locations at this point. You know what I mean? I think everybody has to figure out what the right thing for them to do, keeping people safe and, you know, working out your finances, because your finances aren't going to be the same if you have the same space, but you're using half of it. 50% capacity is, you know, it's a financial killer, you know? So you're going to have to figure it out and see what works for you. And, you know, maybe you cut down on some of your staff and Maybe you put people on commission only so that everybody's like, you know, you work, you get paid. So you have to figure out, I think, for each salon owner, each independent contractor has to figure out how for them personally this you can change, have a new normal, and still make money.
Yeah.
But I think talking to your landlord, I mean, landlords don't want empty spaces, especially now. Who's going to like go into you know, who's going to go into a luxury building?
No, and I love what you said, because I keep saying to people, like, in that scare and prepare, I'm like, you right now, you don't pay your rent. Like, if you don't have money for food and rent, then save that rent for food. And then people are like, but he's demanding my, you know, rent in the location. I'm like, who else is going to go in there? You really think that he's going to, like,
legally can't do anything about it right now anyway?
No,
Can
and
throw
for
you
90
out.
days, they can't, for 90 days they can't do anything about it. But I do, it does scare me that a lot of, you know, back in 2008, almost 35% of salons went out of business. So, and again, the ones that go out of business are the ones that are not, they're poorly run. In a good economy, a poorly run salon can still exist. In a bad economy, it can't. So,
yeah, yes and no. I think that I don't really like to like judge people like that, because sometimes you just have bad luck and everything, your stars aren't aligned and you just get screwed in life. You know, you could just be having a bad time and run your salon properly. Some people have too much compassion and pay everybody when they shouldn't. You know what I mean? So I think that it's a tough call, and that's why like it really bothers me when people judge, because you don't know what situation somebody's in and what they're trying to like hold on to, because really people aren't 100% honest with their situation. Nobody's going to tell you like, oh, I'm like screwed 2 sheets to the wind right now. Nobody's going to say that, but people are trying to figure out how they're going to come back from this, and they want to come back to it, and they want to be successful.
Right, but what I'm
some
saying
people
is,
are like, okay, this is too much, I'm out. You know, I don't make enough money. This is too much hassle. I'd rather like close my shop and go work for somebody, make my money, and go home.
That's what I'm talking about, though, Rita. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They close their locations. Like places like Ulta, for example, experience a huge rush of people that want to come to work there because, you know, they have benefits, they have all that. But I think a salon owner, you know, they have, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And sometimes, you know, one of my Instagram posts, because they're all business and inspiration. One of them is, you know, it's like sometimes the hardest thing in the world to do is to quit, but it's actually sometimes the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And people are like, what do you mean quit? And so I have this whole explanation about what I mean by that. And sometimes, you know, it's funny because sometimes the best thing that just because you're a great hairdresser doesn't mean that you should be a salon owner. It's not like
so hard. Yeah.
Just because you got married doesn't mean that you have to have children right then after that. Like, it's not a rule. There's no rule book. It doesn't say that you have to do that. So if you're a great hairdresser, but you're not a great salon owner and you don't love managing people, it's the hardest thing in the world to do, and you don't love running a business, it's okay to not do that. Like, people put so much on their shoulders and then think that they're a failure if they don't do that. No, everybody's good at different things. It's okay. You know, and so many owners literally only make the amount of money that they make behind the chair, and that's it. And a little bit from retail. And they have these big salons and all these problems and overhead and everything. So it's okay sometimes to say, it's not okay. Like, it's okay to say, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, I can't do this.
It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. Everybody fails.
It's okay.
And then you figure it out.
I give you permission if it's not working for you, because these are going to be the hardest times for people, and they need to look at their finances. They need to look at, this is a great moment right now to be able to say, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? How do I want to show up? I mean, do I want to be an owner? Do I not want to be an owner? Do I want to be a suite? Right? Am I bored with being in a suite? Am I lonely? Do I want to go? Am I not comfortable? Am I not safe? Is my client going to feel safe? Do I want to go to a bigger salon that I know those systems are going to be in place? You know, when my clients want to go to a bigger salon where they know systems are in place to keep me safe, like, these are the questions that we all need to be asking ourselves. So, and being in touch with our clients and thinking through this process.
And, you know, a lot of the reason why I did that Instagram post was because I wanted to feel a temperature of my clients and other hairdressers too, to feel a temperature of what is happening out, where's everybody's head at. And a lot of it had to do with, like, I wanted to feel the temperature of my clientele and see, are they like, you know, ride or die, or are they going to be like, excuse me, or are they going to be like, whoa, I'm not coming in for a long time.
Well,
So, you
they all
know,
said,
unless you have these things in place, you know. So a lot of people like, I want to have a private room. And again, I know I'm blessed and a lot of people don't have the space for it, but I do have private rooms, so I could accommodate people in that way. But, you know, for majority of people who don't, is house calls the way to do it, you know? Is it going to a house, or is a house call even worse? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so I think, like, I don't know if it's, if people keep asking me, do you want to do house calls?
I know.
Like, I don't know. I don't know how clean your house is. No offense to anybody, but I don't know how many people are there, and I don't know, you know, what's going on. I don't know if it's safer or not safe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We've been talking a lot about house calls.
Yeah.
And
What's the answer?
well, I think that
Heck no, somebody said.
you know how people always say, like, meet the client wherever they are. That they mean that on social media, and they mean that in advertising. Meet the client where they are. Like, are they on TV? Are they, you know, whatever? Are they online? But I think that our older clients are. There's going to be a lot of older clients, even over the age of 50, that are not going to want to come into a busy salon.
No.
And especially, you know, the millennials for sure, and young, I mean, they're the ones that tend to be out the most. So if a carrier, you know, and we've got so many people that we know have already had it, we're starting to see these statistics that say that, but they're still carriers and they can still make somebody sick. You know,
some people are saying it's illegal to do house calls wherever they are. I don't
understand that. People do house calls all the time. Like,
no home visits. They're saying no home visits. Like, nobody should enter another person's home.
But there's services everywhere that do in-home visits for blow dries and cuts and color. So I don't know.
Now in this like epidemic?
Oh, you mean right now? I
Yeah.
thought you. Oh yeah, no. If you're on lockdown, you're not supposed to. No.
Right. Some people are, though. That's the crazy thing.
Well,
but when they open it up for people, I guess, and
Yeah.
and you're saying that you think it's not going to be illegal to do house calls, but is it going to be safe?
Well, that's, again, I think that nowhere is, we don't know. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know.
I guess.
keep saying, I feel like we're playing Russian roulette a little bit, and we
Yeah.
just don't know. You know, we don't
We'll
know.
know till we'll know.
We don't know where the bullet is. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's like, it's really frustrating. And I mean, I literally have been out of this place for I've been out of here for an hour and a half in 5 weeks. That's it. And
Wow.
so this is my house. There's a lake back there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, you go outside and like sit by the lake, I hope.
Yeah,
and enjoy your atmosphere.
Gorgeous. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And it's way out in the middle of nowhere. I'm in a town of 230 people, and it's about 30 minutes from where I grew up. And there is not another town that has more than 10,000 people until you get to 40 miles away. It has 10,000. Right. It's crazy out in the middle I am. There's been 2 coronavirus sicknesses. They're both healthy again. And in this entire county the whole time. So it's just really sad, because there's some people down the street that own the only restaurant in town. It's been open like 40 years, and they're going to have to close it. They can't, they can't afford, they just don't have any money. I mean, people don't have a lot of money here. This is not like the Hamptons. This is, this is exactly what I want in the middle of nowhere. And I bought it a year ago, and it's just my happy place, but this is where I came to hunker down. So I feel like, so I totally get the social distancing, and I've been living it for 5 weeks. But I do know, as you said, that hairdressers have to, at some point, we're going to go back. We need to prepare for that, and we're not going to sit home for 18 months.
No, no.
One statistic that we're about to, because we're about to share the survey, 31% of the people that were surveyed out of the 5,000 that have filled it out so far said their plan is to leave the business. 31%.
That's a lot. That's a high percentage.
It's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Wow.
So it's and I don't know if they're saying that right now, to get a job so they can pay the bills and get a job in a different kind of, place or whatever. But I did think that was a pretty high number. And when you're talking about And when we, again, 5,000 people, it is split right down the middle. 50%, 48%, 49% want to go back to work, and like 51% don't want to go back to work. So it's really, it is interesting how, and I'm going to do, I just got the data this morning, but I'm going to do some cross tabulations to see of the people in New York who wants to go, you know, of all the people that answered it in New York, I want to see what they all have to say. Of California, I want to see what they have to say. Or anybody that answered, I don't want to go back to work, I'll tabulate that to see where they're from. Because I think that'll tell us a lot.
You know, I think there's two reasons why somebody wouldn't want to. Number one, they were thinking about maybe changing careers anyway. They weren't making money. Or they're too scared to be this close to another person. That's really the two reasons why. And then you have the die-hard, like, this is my job. Like, there's nothing else I'm going to do. This is it, you know? So I'm going to try to figure out how to make it work. And I think this is why I started this conversation, because there is nothing else I could do. There's nothing else I want to do. There's nothing else that, you know, will make me happy. So I need to figure this out. So I love that. Is my point. That's my only point. It's like, I'm not going to switch gears. I don't have another career. I don't want another career. How am I going to make this work? And, you know, just getting other people's opinion and starting a conversation is very important, because I didn't hear anybody really saying much except for, you're crazy to open a salon. But I mean, it's going to open eventually. This is my whole point. Eventually, we have to open. Whether you choose another career, you're still going to need your hair done at some point, or, you know, or if you're a hairdresser, you're going to have to figure it out at some point. Maybe the point's not today or next week, but in a month, you're going to have, you know, some kind of solution to getting back to work. And this is what we have to discuss now, because like I said, getting PPE isn't easy for hospitals and doctors. How the hell are we going to get it first? You have to be, at least put your order in, so you're in the queue so that you can get your equipment when you need it. Yeah, and some people are having them made with logos and things like that. I did that. I had my made. It's coming May 5th. Yeah, exactly. So it's a little extra. I do know that. Yeah. You know, so we're going to give the salon, the staff, like the ones with the Rita Hazan logo on it, you know, we'll have at least, you know, you have to have some kind of, you know, pleasantry throughout this whole nightmare. So we'll do that just for fashion and for fun. And then we'll give the clients, you know, the disposable ones, so that we'll do the shields. You know, we're going to take 100% precaution. I'm going to ask a lot of doctors that I know what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing, and, you know, sharing whatever information that I get. And I know that people will be sharing with me, because I've been talking to people on the phone, and everybody's got, like, you know, a different idea of how they're going to open. Yeah. You know, some people say they're going to open, you know, I was talking to Rihanna from 901. Yeah. And she said, I said, you know, we might open on Monday. I thought I was being like a super extra. She's like, oh, honey, we're opening 7 days. I'm like, you're even better than I am. That might not be a bad idea. Open 7 days in shifts of people. So not everybody's working every day, but you can accommodate your clients. So she was very smart with that too. Yeah, exactly. So people are asking. We wouldn't know this if we didn't have discussions. No, and that's exactly what saloners, everybody's trying to do the exact same thing, because the government's not really providing any details or any information around it. Like, so they're trying to create that. Well, you know. What do they know? These are men sitting behind the desk who don't know anything about that was part of my point too. We're going to let some guys behind the desk who don't even know how our business is run make decisions for us. You know, it might not be what we need. It might be less than what we need or more than what we need. You know, I think if we as an industry come together and create what we know will work, and at least have a voice in it, then we can, like, at least, and we could get back to we can create a new normal for ourselves, and not just have these guys say, oh, everybody thinks it's a bad idea for salons to open. So no, you know what I mean? We're not dumb people just because we're creative. We're very smart people and savvy, and we hustle. In our industry, we have to hustle. So we can have our own voice as well, I think.
Yeah, so for everybody that's watching, and you guys, a lot of you guys know this, behind the chair, the second that this happened 5 weeks ago, we took all of our editors, and instead of having them actually write about hair, they started to write about everything that related to hairdressers as it relates to COVID. And so if you go to behindthechair.com and you go to right on the very top, it says coronavirus support, there are all kinds of downloadables. So one of those is about like all the things that you're going to do. Like you can literally print it and put it up in your salon, and it's kind of a checkpoint for clients to know what you've done in terms of how you've sanitized. So some hairdressers that were, even before this was over, were printing them, putting them like in picture frames and stuff. We also have the disclaimer or the release that your client would sign if you guys are giving, if you guys are doing root touch-up kits. So it's a legal thing that you can sign. It's all free, like we've done this for you guys. And then also there's a letter there to talk to your landlord about trying to cut your rent or delay your rent. So there's a great letter there for you guys. Again, completely free. You guys can go and download all of that information. And there's a ton of articles about how you do root touch-up kits, about how you prepare your salon. So all, like every bit of information that we get will take us from you guys. And so it's just been a lifeline that we've tried to create for hairdressers, and it's been, I mean, every day I think it gets hit 100. I think we have 100,000 page views in that section every single day.
Well, because it's necessary, and it is. And you guys are doing your homework really, really well. So it's very helpful for people to just be able to go on, click, and like learn what. You know, every day something's changing, so we have to be on top of it all the time.
Oh my God, a day feels like a month right now, and our whole team is like trying to keep track of who's opening, who's not, how's it going, you know, is it working, what systems are you putting in place that aren't working, so we can like try to, you know, push that information to everybody else, because we're all going to learn from each other. I was saying to Van, I'm like, you know, you're like the canary in the, you know, in the coal mine right now. I mean, you're our guinea pig, you know, and if there was ever a guinea pig that would do it better than anyone, he's that good. I mean, so he'll keep his staff as safe as we humanly know is possible based on the data that we have. And I think that's what the problem is that we don't have enough information. And I feel like that's the thing that makes me so mad, is that we're censoring information about this. Like there's so much data, but we don't know where to turn. Like, I just feel like that's the hardest part. There's data, but we don't know what data is correct. And again, I keep going back to, they told us not to wear masks. I mean, I don't trust anyone. And that's what makes me feel insecure.
I just think at this point, extra precaution is probably the best thing to do right now. You know, it's just like, just be extra, you know, no like glass drinking, no
magazines,
magazine, nothing extra. Just come in, do your hair, and bounce. You know.
And the thing is,
pay before, pay after, Venmo tips. You know, just the least interaction for now until we can figure out what next. But you're only going to know once you get in there. We can talk and talk and talk, and then when we start, like, everything's different, everything changes. So you can only know if you know once you start.
I know. And that's the problem. There are some, for anybody that hasn't heard this, some statistics came out yesterday. Again, statistics that seem to be like that everybody is listening, like that's being reported versus like this, you know, some stuff isn't, it's like, you just don't know where to turn. But it said that children that under the age of, I'm trying to remember what it was, 10, I think under the age of 10, first of all, actually are not big carriers of this, almost don't carry it at all. And secondly, they have like a 0.003 chance of dying. Like, it's like extremely, it's like as low as low. So even though they get the flu really badly, they don't carry this at the same percentage or levels that that adults do, which I thought, so that was great news for children, at least for parents that have little kids. And I'm wondering, you know, so look for that study.
You know, Mary, the truth is, I think salons anyway are clean. We have to clean after ourselves. We're sanitary in the
Already
first
are.
place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always you clean your equipment after every client. You clean the shampoos after every shampoo bowls. There's always somebody like there's bleach everywhere, cleaning. We clean like crazy. I think we're the cleanest industry really, because we're always like cleaning behind ourselves because you have the next person coming in, and you know, new towels, new robes, new products, new tools, new everything for everybody all the time. So I feel like we're kind of halfway there. We use gloves anyway all the time.
Yeah.
Like, as a colorist, I'm always wearing gloves, so that's not going to be hard for me to learn what to do. Stylists, maybe they don't use gloves and they might have to start. And we use capes, exactly. We're covered up anyway all the time. So we're halfway battle there. We just have to go the extra mile. So I think that's, you know, a lot. Restaurants maybe don't even clean as much as salons do. I don't know. I don't know what their thing is, but I know that in my salon, we're like psycho about cleaning. We have 2 housekeepers, but again, I know I'm not the normal, but you know, we have people because of the size of it. We have to have a lot of people working there. So we have people constantly cleaning. But I think, anyway, even small salons constantly clean. They clean their brushes. They sanitize, use barbicide. You know, we use capes and gloves, and everything's disposable anyway. So I think we're halfway there. We just have to go the extra.
Yeah. And again, you know, like you said, I mean, it's not we're going to open with it. It's not going to go away before we open doors back up again. So it's just trying to do as much learning as we can. Again, knowledge is power, and knowledge makes you feel powerful in a very unpowerful kind of situation that we're all in. And I think it's just, you know, that's why I've been trying to go live a lot. Like, in fact, it's funny when you're saying you've been, you know, doing a little bit of social media. Like, I own the company. Somebody got on, you know, and just said, and I'm on stages all over the world, but somebody got on and said, who is this lady? And that was just so funny. It was like last week or something. And I'm like, God, I really don't go on our lives very much. Like in the past, I'm like working and running this company, and, you know, and so it was just sort of funny. I'm like, I forget that I don't go live, you know, I don't go live.
Yeah.
So these guys have seen me now, like pretty much every day live. Yesterday, we had our, you know, 6 of our senior team putting on the whole show yesterday, and a lot of our guests. So they got a chance to meet a lot of our team that's behind the scenes, but it's been, you know, it feels good to be able to come on and share knowledge like you. I really appreciate the fact that you've come on and done that. I also really appreciate your honesty and your openness. Whether everybody agrees with you, whether they don't agree with me, whether they don't agree with staying home, you know, whatever that is, I think the thing is like, if we all can learn from each other and we just all respect each other's, you know, feelings. I think it's really important.
We're all in this together. We're one group of people. We're all in this together. Whether you like it or not, we're all in together. You know, the idea is for us to all be friendly with each other. You know, like I said, I love, you know, all the people that I've worked with, that I've come across, that I've met, you know, in the same industry as me. I have no animosity with people. I respect other people's hustle. And I think that if we discuss amongst ourselves, we can build a new normal together, you know, and if we're all on the same page, we're all on the same page as a business. So the clients can say, oh, well, you know, she's doing it that way. How come you're not doing it that way? You know, so if we're all in this together as one, the clients will just jump on board instead of saying, oh, they're doing it that way. You're not doing enough. She's doing too much. So if we all get together and have a conversation and say, these are what we're doing, the clients can say one, you know, pin one salon against the other, and it could just move on. That will be the new normal if we're all on the same page. So I think that's the biggest thing here, is not to say, you know, you're jumping too fast. And the idea is that we all speak to each other as a group, decide how we want to handle our business, our livelihoods, our lives, and, you know, do it as a group in a safe manner, because we're in control of our jobs, our life, and how we want to live. just as much as somebody's going to tell you what you need to do.
Yeah. Well, and nobody can, because you guys know it better than anyone. It's making me think. I think what I'll probably do is maybe try to do some sort of a Zoom live, and getting, salon owners, 5 or 6 salon owners from across the country that are opening, that are planning to open. I think that would be
People
such a
that did it and how they're successful in it,
exactly,
or what they learned they shouldn't do. You're doing things and failing at them are also a way of winning, and teaching people how to do it right. Then, I did this, it didn't work. You guys don't try that.
Right.
So it's nice to be able to talk to people who are open, that want to share and say, do this, don't do this. This is how I opened it. Didn't work. Then we regrouped and did it this way, and it's perfect. So guys, try that.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, because we had such a successful day. We had 800 people from all over the world, 30
amazing
countries. Yeah,
people want to know. People want knowledge, I think, more than anything.
I do too, and it just allows you to, like I said, to feel like you're a bit more in control. Knowledge really is power. I'm constantly learning. I wouldn't be here today, and having reinvented, if I don't study all the time. It's my favorite. Like when I go on vacation, I get 2 new business books, and it's like my favorite thing in the whole world. I'm so excited. I actually have time to read, and here's my 2 books. And everybody's like, you're crazy. When was the last time you read a fiction book? I'm like, 30 years. And I'm like, okay, so I'm obsessed with work. Sorry, it's my thing. I love what I do.
Yeah, everybody enjoys different parts of the business. Some people just, love the business part. I mean, I learned to love doing business stuff as much as I naturally love creative and doing color. Like my product line is a whole different animal from my salon. It's like all business, production and marketing, and all. It's like complete, like office work, where I'm used to being in front and behind the chair and working with celebrities and traveling and going and doing. It's like a completely different animal when I have to go in and do that, like office work. So I kind of learned to love that part of it too. And we have our website, and I was like, you know what, we should do an amazing promo on our website for people to be able to go on, get free shipping, get, % off, and buy all the products that you need to maintain your color.
It's going to cut us off in 30 seconds.
Tell
everybody your website address.
RitaHazan.com.
Okay, cool. This has been amazing. 2 hours with you. I can't wait to come to New York, and let's have dinner. We'll just keep on going.
Gotta do it. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you so for everybody. Much. Stay safe and healthy.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.